Today we're going to review a great album called Cosmo's Factory by Creedence Clearwater Revival. Come along and we won't make you run through the jungle or come up around the bend. When most people think of the band Creedence Clearwater Revival, they think of the band with the swamp rock sound. You know, songs like Born on the Bayou, Green River, Run Through the Jungle. Well, truth of the matter is the guys were actually born all around Berkeley, California. You see, in 1959, John Fogerty, Stu Cook, and Doug Clifford, while enrolled at El Cerrito High School in San Francisco's East Bay area, formed a first band, and their first band was called the Blue Velvets. They played some high school gigs and did a lot of cover songs. Then, pretty soon, John's brother Tom went ahead and joined the band, and they began writing some songs of their own. Well, in 1964, the band was signed to Fantasy Records. Fantasy immediately changed the band's name to the Gollywogs. You see, they wanted to capitalize on the British invasion. They thought if they named the band the Gollywogs, people would think they're British, just like the Beatles, and they would have to go ahead and have an instant fan base. Well, it didn't work out. In 1968, the band changed their name to Creedence Clearwater Revival, and their first album was self-titled. Now that album took off. It had the song Suzy Q on it. Well, the band went into a hyper mode and they released 5 albums within 2 years, Cosmo's Factory being the 5th. John Fogerty is an extremely hard worker and a perfectionist. In 1969, the band played Woodstock, and you won't see him on the movie at all. You won't hear him on the records. And the reason is John felt that his performance was subpar, and he didn't want that documented for everybody to see forever and ever. His hard work also kind of built a little bit of resentment with the band. You see, John rented a warehouse and made the band practice every day. And he kept telling them, hey, we have a small window where we can capitalize on our fame and fortune. Let's just do the best job we can, crank out as many records as we can, and let's ride the wave. Well, Clifford, whose nickname was Cosmo, began to call the warehouse the factory. He said it was like going to work every day. It was like going to the factory to go to work. It wasn't like being in a band. So this album was named Cosmo for Clifford and the Factory, so Cosmo's Factory. The album's photographs were done by John's brother Bob, kind of a family affair. So this album's got something for everyone. It's got some swamp rock, it's got some country rock, it's got some old-time rock and roll, it's got some blues, and it's even got some rhythm and blues. The album is full of hits. Many of them are at the 3-minute mark. You know, that magical mark where it gets played on the radio. Things longer than 3 minutes seldom get played on the radio, except for Ramble Tamble, which came in at 7:09, and I heard it through the grapevine, which came in at 11:05. The rest of the songs are right at 3 minutes or a little less. Now, the album's been certified as 4 times platinum. That means it sold a lot of records. You know, 6 of the 11 songs on this album were released as singles. And what they did is they released them so that each side of the 45 RPM record was an A song. Instead of having a good song and a crappy song, they had made sure that each side had a good song. Now, you'll recognize every song on this album. You know, there's such classics as Up Around the Bend, Long as I Can See the Light, Run Through the Jungle, and of course my favorite, I Heard It Through the Grapevine. They're all great songs. So, I've actually seen John Fogerty live just last year, and I gotta say, he was a hard rock and roller. All the songs had great guitar riffs, and even had his son come out and they played dueling guitar riffs. It was fantastic. It was a real hard rocking show. Unfortunately, or fortunately, this record is not the hardest rocking record around. It is a fun record. The songs are great. There are ones from when you were a kid. You listen to them on the radio. They're great songs. I mean, I would have to give this a 2 thumbs up. Get this record. Or if you have it already, get it out, dust it off, and play it, because you're going to have fun.